Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thursday, I believe, September the 3rd. And the topic that I chose for today, startups race to show what alternatives to Uber and Lyft could look like for California drivers, right? So competition is healthy. Competition is extremely important, right? To check the monopolies, right, who are basically rampantly doing their own thing, writing their own story, and driving everyone out of business. I mentioned it to Uber and Lyft, controlling the show, controlling the numbers, controlling the fares, race to the bottom type of effect, not paying you enough. And we need to help these competitors come into the field, and not only in California, all across the board, in all 50 states, overseas, etc., because competition, the more competitors we have in California and neighboring states, the more Uber and Lyft have to fight for you and up the game, right? So I am a big supporter of competition in the marketplace, right? Now, some of these competitors, should they turn to us? Should they turn to some of the social media influencers? Allow us to help you enter those markets, recruit drivers, educate drivers, and help you mix it up with the giants, right? So there are a few names that will be mentioned in this article that I'm going to cover. Jimmy, how are you? Some of these operators, for example, one of them is in Texas. They just employ the drivers. Sure, if they fit into the California market and there are drivers that want to sign up as employees and have like a guaranteed earnings, etc., go. Yeah, absolutely, go sign up with it. And I am not pushing for drivers to be employers. Don't get me wrong. What I'm pushing for are better conditions. What I'm pushing for is that the companies, if they use the word independent contractor, should treat you as an independent contractor, not just make up a story and pretend that you are an independent contractor. So I'm all for companies entering the market, California, Nevada, etc., right, offering their model so that drivers can become employers. Great. There will be certain drivers that will fit into that puzzle and enjoy that profession, enjoy that job, right? But more than that, we need these guys to come in to mix it up so that Uber and Lyft put better conditions on the table for drivers and not just cozy up to the riders all the time. So with hundreds of thousands of Uber and Lyft drivers facing uncertain futures in California, two startups hope drivers will take a chance on their alternative approaches to the ride-hail business. So when they say they hope that drivers will take a chance and try them out, all you can really do is try them out. You sign up, for an additional company, give them a chance. Hey, this works or this doesn't work for me, right? If you like your set hours, if you like that environment of being an employer, this will obviously work for you. If you enjoy that flexibility and you want to become a true independent contractor, then you really need to fight for true independent contractorship and not just settle for the status quo, right? Uber and Lyft, which have built up massive fleets of drivers by treating them as independent contractors, are in the midst of heated legal battle over how its drivers are classified in the state. Both recently threatened to shut down their services in the state rather than comply with a court order to reclassify their drivers as employees. The future of these workers is uncertain, as a new worker classification in California known as AB5 went into effect on January the 1st. In late August, the ride-hailing companies were granted a temporary reprieve from complying with the law, and they continue to fight against it applying to the drivers on their platforms. Uber and Lyft support a referendum on the ballot in November that seeks to exempt them from the law. We know all about that. In the meantime, some startups see a chance to show alternative models to the behemoth ride-hail platforms, including what it's like for drivers to fully control how to whom they provide a service. Okay, so enter the game here. Empowering gig workers as small business owners. That's the promise of a new app by Dumpling, right? A Seattle-based startup originally launched in 2018 to create an alternative to an on-demand grocery delivery services like Instacart, right? So if they do roll out here, if they are in California, we should open our eyes and look at that model. Does it or does it not work for us? Workers that use Dumpling's platform are effectively small business owners. Dumpling shares information with workers about how to set up a sole proprietorship or an LLC, and offers a suite of tools, including a personalized website, business coaching, and a pre-funded credit card to shop orders to help them run their own business, right? So they're empowering you to become a small business owner. I want to acknowledge the people in the house. Juan Garcia, NOP's in the house, Triss is in the house, Jimmy's in the house. I welcome you all. Hit that thumbs up as you come in. Now, Dumpling charges workers a setup fee and offers both free and paid monthly subscriptions for access to the tools. There are also additional fees such as credit card processing fees. Workers have the freedom to choose their clients, set their own prices, go to a range of stores for one order, and build a direct relationship with clients who can request the same shopper in the future. The idea was to have technology aid and help workers rather than control them. Dumpling co-founder and CEO Joel Shapiro told CNN Business. And hopefully Joel Shapiro reaches out, right, to YouTubers and says, listen, can we work together? Can we offer people in California and other states alternatives, right? Because we desperately need alternatives to these big players. Robert Hunicker, Scott Tucker in the house, I welcome you. So now, in addition to Grocery Dumpling, which has raised 10 million in funding, including 6.5 million since the beginning of the pandemic, wants to aid drivers in starting ride businesses with a separate app called Dumpling Drive. So now that they've established that initial platform of deliveries, now they want to start Dumpling Drive. Now, Dumpling Drive, strange name. I don't quite really like the ring of the name, Dumpling Drive. But I welcome them in the California market because the more competitors, the merrier. The more competitors standing up to Uber and Lyft, the better Uber and Lyft have to treat you and fight for you, right? With everything going on in California, there has been a big uptick in interest of people looking for an alternative, Shapiro said, noting that Drive is now available nationwide and is offering drivers the first 60 days free of cost. After that, it will charge a $20 monthly subscription. While Uber and Lyft popularized a different use case for consumers, the ability to get a ride on a moment's notice at any time, Shapiro said the Drive service intends help drivers go after a subset of the ride-hail market, which he referred to as scheduled rides, right? Such as daily commutes, appointments, and more. When I started putting a team together to write the software for GOAT, greatest of all time drivers, we completed and we worked exclusively on a scheduling platform, just as they have, which we now lent to the Canadian arm, the co-op, which will be coming out as soon as the pandemic numbers start subsiding, right? Robert Prather Jr., gig work in Sacramento, told CNN that he recently started using Dumpling's grocery app and has started testing out Drive as well. He set up a Facebook page to market his business, which he says is very much in the beginning stages. I'm planting seeds right now, waiting for it to grow, right? Making drivers employees. On the flip side, Dallas-based rideshare startup Alto and I'm sure you've seen them, right? There's a lot of talk about them here. That's what their logo looks like. Alto is gearing up to enter California by late October, beginning with Los Angeles. The startup, which launched in January 2019, classifies its drivers as employees, which Uber and Lyft have long fought against because they would need to offer them certain benefits, right? So if this fits your needs, right, if Alto appeals to you, with all the protections that an employee has, then that might be the right fit for you. And granted, I know that tons and tons of drivers want their flexibility, right, want to be true independent contractors, and it's truly up to us to push for that status, for true independent contractorship. You should be able, and I'm talking every state, every city, every international city, be able to decline any trip you wish without retribution, without them retaliating. You should be able to set your fares, just as we have the multiplier right now. What I'm worried about with Yes on 22 is that everything goes back to the same old, and they will keep on keeping those mileage rates and time rates down because they want to drive the competitors out of the market. So the sooner companies like Dumpling Ride or Alto come into California, come into New Mexico, come into Florida, the better, right? We need healthy competitors. We need a lot of competitors. Alto has forced on offering an upscale ride service focused on hospitality and safety. As employees, its drivers are fingerprinted and drive the company-owned vehicles, which are monitored and cleaned regularly. As another differentiating factor, Alto offers healthcare benefits and pays hourly wages to drivers. So it looks like they own the vehicles. You will drive for them as an employee. You get your minimum hourly. That might suit some people, right? So some people that cannot afford a car and want structure may look to Alto. Then the ones that want to really be true independent contractors, right? They will want to go out, get their own cars, and be able to set their own rates. The ongoing labor dispute in California, coupled with the continued health crisis, has created a sense of urgency to expand Alto outside of Texas. Texas, why are you waiting? We welcome you. According to Will Coleman, Alto's founder and CEO. Now, Will Coleman, you come across this video, I hope you do, because I am putting the keywords in there. I am going to put this in the description. Reach out to us. Allow me to help you in California. I will roll out the red carpet. I will keep on pushing videos. You give me your materials so that I can empower your drivers. I welcome you in California. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. Get your operations from Texas. And I've lived in Texas. I know Texas. I understand the people of Texas. I have a lot of them, a lot of the followers from Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, all of the cities, right? Austin, Texas are here in my channel. So if we can help you in California, Mr. Will Coleman, please reach out to us. We are desperate for healthy competition, right? We're currently getting more inbound interest from California drivers organically than in cities we're currently operating in, Coleman. Okay, so if you're getting that interest, respond to that interest. You need to fire up your apps, pay your dues, get your licenses, and start operating yesterday. Ukaman's in the house, says good afternoon. How are you? Robert Hunica says agreed no on 22. Vegas 888 says hi. What does yes and no mean on the November vote? Let me put it in simple English, right? Yes on November means Uber and Lyft are dictating and have written the laws, right? So it's up to you. If you still trust them at this point in the game 10 years later, if you're super excited and happy and it's Uber, Lyft, yes, amen, then go for yes on 22. If you want to push for true independent contractorship, if you want to push for better rates, if you want to put the pressure on Uber and Lyft, vote no on 22. So according to Will Coleman here, the founder of Alto, we're currently getting more inbound interest from California. Super cool. Coleman said some of Alto's driver employees work fewer than 10 hours per week and have significant flexibility in choosing when they want to work, whereas others work full-time and are guaranteed a certain number of hours in exchange for open availability. We want to show consumers there really is an alternative. So this is an alternative to Uber and Lyft, and we should be open to alternatives. And meaning that you're open to alternative doesn't mean that that is the right way to go for you, right? You might have found a niche. You might have found exactly when and where you need to drive with Uber and Lyft to maximize your earnings. You're probably earning way, way more now by setting your own rates with a multiplier. All of that only happened because of the pressure of AB5. So we need to reach out to Alto and Dumpling, or vice versa. They need to reach out to us and allow us to help you enter these markets, right? I'm really looking for any company that wants to do business in California to email, text me and say, hey, can you promote us? Can you help us? There's a lot of other great YouTubers, fantastic YouTubers out there that I'm sure even if they're in other states, they would help and assist these companies to get into California. I know that Dustin would make a video on them. I know that, Kevin the Entrepreneur, tons of other great YouTubers out there would make videos and help them enter the California and other markets. Vegas 888 says, would yes or no get rid of the employee thing? Well, but by voting no, it doesn't mean that you automatically become an employee and it's dictated exactly when you have to drive and what you get paid, right? There are all the flexible benefits built in. But more than just becoming an employee, the pressure has to be on the state of California, on the states in the US, and on Uber and Lyft to create a hybrid, right? We need better pay and better conditions across the board. My biggest worry is because of the fact that they are controlling the show and paying for yes on 22. They will then in November, if they get it yes on 22, fall straight back to the same old, same old. They're all beautiful, fluffy words, nice words offered by Uber and Lyft. But what defines them and where you can really, really see whether they're sincere or not, right? They're only accommodating and making things better in California because of AB5, right? Allowing you to decline or accept whenever you wish, giving you the flexibility of choosing with whom you wish to drive, when you wish to drive, and more importantly, setting your own rates on a Friday or a Saturday night, for example, so that you get higher earnings. People right now are getting way, way higher earnings because of AB5. That's a fact, right? Now, if they lose the yes on Prop 22, they will really have to hash out a deal with California. And California also knows you cannot automatically switch those hundreds and hundreds of thousands of drivers to employees. They know that. They know that the only way forward is a true gig hybrid law, right? So they're mounting the chips here. It's a game. And on this game, they're spending $110 million. But the bottom line is, and I can tell you this right now, this word independent contractor is used so loosely, and drivers truly believe that they are independent contractors, right? In neighboring states, you're not even close to being an independent contractor, right? They dictate the pace, right? Here in California, you are a step closer to becoming an independent contractor. Why? Because of the pressure of AB5 on Uber. They have to step up their game and show the state, hey, you know what? We are moving the drivers more towards independent contractorship. If a driver was a true independent contractor, I'd be happy because you'd be making a lot of money, right? But right now, you're still being controlled by their algorithms and by their rates. We need to change that. Sammy Elliott's in the house. Ian Mash is in the house. Can Uber less the 25% to 10% to Uber driver? Is it possible? Are you talking about the 75-25 split? That would be wonderful because people were actually making money in that scenario. Chris Bowman in the house. How are you? Good to see you. Carlos Balmer says, Torsten, how are you, buddy? Hope you and your family are doing good and you're staying cool from this heat. Well, the heat, it's getting hotter and hotter every day. 107 by the weekend, by Saturday. So in 48 hours from now, it's 107. Must be all the high pressure that's pushed in from the hurricanes. I mean, we're having heat waves across the country. I'm sure you guys are experiencing. I'm sure people down in Texas and Florida are having crazy high temperatures, high humidity. We're experiencing very, very similar weather conditions over here in California. Sammy Elliott says, Uber is already ripping us off when I tell she's going to pay you $3 to $4, only pays you $2.60. That tells you they are lying. Look, $2.60 is not money. $3 is not money. $4 is not money. I have this saying, under 4, we don't hawk, right? You know, at 5, we drive. I mean, you cannot make this business work at $2.60. And I am afraid that if they get their way, because they paid the $110 million and they're running their TV ads, it's straight back to that $2.60. Yes, you might be able to achieve the minimum per hour, but you will never be able to achieve your true potential. A lot of the drivers right now, just ask Thomas Gibson, ask Paul Figueroa here in San Diego, people that I talk to often, you know, ask Rick Nelson. They are actually experiencing their true potential now. Why? Because of the AB5 laws, Uber had to raise the game. They mounted the AB5 chips here. Uber had to follow suit, right? Allowing you to set a multiply, allowing you to set a rate. If you can dictate a 3.5 or a 5 or a 2.5 or a 2x on any given busy day, after work, before work, lunchtime, evening, Saturday night, Friday night, you're making money, right? So in this very short window of about 120 days, sadly, during the pandemic, people in California are making money. XL drivers are making $2,500 a week, a lot of them, you know. But we need to achieve that for all. This is not just, the focus cannot just be on California. The talk, the energy cannot just be on California. It has to be for everyone. Everyone has to enjoy better benefits. Q, wait, you probably should read the new email that Uber sent out today. I would love to receive it. If you have a copy, maybe they've just sent it to me. I'll check my email, but that's my email right there. My guess is it more fear marketing. Ian Nash is in the house. I'm from Kenya and love your videos. Kenya, where are you? Mombasa, where are you? Dar es Salaam. I mean, where are you? Are you in Kenya? Are you in Nairobi? Been to Kenya many, many times. Love it. Actually, even went up there to climb the Kilimanjaro. So Kenya is stunning. The front. Thank you. High five. Thank you. Do you have driver Steve blocked? I've been trying to communicate with you on that screen name, but apparently you don't see it and I can't donate. Can you send me a link of that account? I will check. I don't think I've blocked them. I mean, I have other people in my social media team that work with me. I hope they didn't block that individual. Send that link to me and then I will check all the channels. I have 12 different channels. And sometimes when they block one individual, maybe because of racist remarks, and that doesn't mean obviously you didn't make that, but sometimes if they block an individual, could be because of swear words or whatever, sometimes YouTube blocks them, but generally speaking, my team will block them across the board on all 12 channels, right? Dan's in the house. Just sent your Dylan Rap Challenge video to Torsten Kunert. Fantastic. Okay, good. We got to live up to that rap challenge. And I'm sure you've heard of Dan's rap challenge. In fact, if you Google Dan, the driving man, on Google, his story shows up #1. He's all over the news. And it's an amazing story that I'm going to do a separate video on. I didn't even know that happened, but I loved the story, right? It was a great, great story. And a lot of people make videos about Dan or rap battles. So maybe I've been a little bit asleep there, Dan. Now I'm completely wide awake. I had my coffee. I went and educated myself. Who is this guy? This is one hard worker, right? Dan. This is one guy you'd want to go to battle with, right? Just what he did for a four-heart purple veteran, a story that he drove him like a few hundred miles is insane. His heart is in the right place, and he deserves a video or a rap battle. And now that I know more about the individual, I've seen the pictures, I love his messages, his text messages. I truly want to dedicate a full video and let Dan know when we're going to do that live feed so that he can be part of it, so that he can answer people, right? He can maybe challenge people in the room to do his rap battle. Love the story, 100% support it. Ian Mash says, is in Nairobi, Kenya. When you pass by to visit, I'll show you around and cheaper place to stay. You know, the one thing I'll tell you, Ian Mash, with the Mandela family, I've been all over Africa, maybe with the exception of 5 countries in Africa I didn't visit, but I've been to Kenya, Malawi, Tanzania, Namibia, Senegal, Cote d'Ivoire, Egypt, Tunisia, South Africa, Congo, Ghana, on and on and on to all of those countries. I know Africa well. I love Africa. And when I go and travel around, I mix it up. I'll go high end and then I'll go low end cheap. I want to see both sides of every country, right? I don't want to just go in there as a tourist. You got to go here, you got to go there. When you go off track, when you go off the beat, off the track, right? Whether it's with a Jeep or a car, that is when you truly experience a country or a city. So it's not just following, okay, I'm in Nairobi, here's my book, it tells me I got to go there, there, and there. No, you got to have an insider. Wherever you go traveling, you got to have an insider to experience the true heartbeat of that city or that country. I'm sure anyone can relate that has traveled out there. You know, there's different ways of traveling, right? Budget travels, there's tourist travels. I mean, you know, then there's the backpacking travels, the high-end travels, the luxury travels, the adventure travels. I mean, there's just so many ways to approach a country and a city. Lighting gamer, how did I get here? You walked straight in, right? You were wandering around there in the dark and you clicked on it and suddenly you're here on the stage. Don't have stage fright, my friend, lightning gamer. Add some lightning, right? You're probably a good gamer. Maybe you're a Fortniter, maybe you've Call of Duty. You're welcome here. Vegan Gem, that is so very true. You don't learn a country by visiting buildings or tourist sites, but by hanging out with the natives, exactly, with the locals. Hey, where do you guys like going? I want to go where you guys go to. That is how you feel the heartbeat of a city. Matt Killian, hello from Florida. I hope you're safe over there. Vegas 888, would you like to see drivers get paid more as contractors and Uber and Lyft to strive as a business? You know, it's a good question. I think that Uber and Lyft can do way better if they don't do the race to the bottom, right? Because what all they are doing is the competition between themselves. I think it's pre-designed, pre-agreed upon between Uber and Lyft to do the race to the bottom. That means let us both keep our rates super low. Let's cozy up to the rider and let's take from the driver. And by doing so, by subsidizing and discounting, I mean, you have an Uber pass for $20 a month. It gives you these insane further discounts of 15 to 20%, right? That is not the solution here, right? The solution is to break up those monopolies by a lot of healthy competition, so people look at alternatives, so that Uber has to treat you better, right? By getting the state involved and saying, okay, you do the big talk about independent contractorship, but are you treating these people as true independent contractors? I want people to be true independent contractors, right? Meaning you go out, you set your rates, right? You have some guidelines by Uber and Lyft, maybe what the trip should cost, but you can set your rates, right? The market dictates. Don't let them dictate for you. You need to dictate. That is what a true independent contractor does, right? If I see screenshots of people sending me 1.5 hour trips and they've made $230, or in 37 minutes they've made, 90 something dollars, that's more like what you should be paid. That's what I'm charging my clients. I have a trip today from Hidden Hills to Santa Monica and back. It's $300, right? There and back. In between, I'll do a couple of other things. That to me is proper money. We don't work for $2.60, right? And as long as, if we give up, if we don't collectively push on social media, if we don't collectively hold Dara Khosrowshahi, Tony West, Logan Green, John Zimmer responsible, they will do to us what they wish, especially with Yes on 22, right? So we got to bring the fight and the battle to them on social media. You have all these wonderful, marvelous platforms that you can use free of charge. You got to bring the fight to their front door. If you don't do that, don't, cry and whine and expect change, because there will never be change. They will keep on dictating you. They will keep on giving discounts. They will keep on driving taxi companies out of the business. They will keep on driving shuttle businesses out of the business until they have the true monopoly. Ladies and gentlemen, these two companies are working together. They have filed papers on the same day. They have brought out joint statements on the same day. They have phone lines. These are not two companies that are independently acting as, each other. No, they are working together to monopolize the workplace. And the way they do it is by the race to the bottom, pushing the rates down, treating the riders or the passengers like princes and princesses, treating them like kings and queens, right? So know that before you get involved in rideshare. And if you want to look at the other side, the other upside, go out and get your own private limo license and start building your own company. I explain that in so much length, and I spend a lot of time with you on the phone. Go and check it out if you are heading towards true independent contractorship, meaning building your own company, having your own LLC, dictating your own rates. And here, let me throw in a 30%. Boom, there it is. There's a code, right? So, Dumpling Drive, we welcome you to California. We will help you in California. Alto, we will help you. And then there are specific drivers that may fit into that model, that may drift away from Uber and Lyft into Alto or Dumpling Drive. It might be a better fit for them, right? So competition is super healthy. If you have, a square block between two streets or between two avenues, and you have a mall there, and you have a Chinese restaurant, and you have an Italian pizzeria, and you have, your Subways, or you have another little diner or little American diner, the more competition on that block, the better, because it's going to attract all the foodies. They're going to come and say, oh, today we'll try out this. Where do they go to? They go to that little food mall, right? Because there's a lot of competition. They have a lot to choose from. The rideshare business should be the same. It's not the same. You got these two giants dictating the pace, race to the bottom, right? discounting and subsidizing, and there's just no competitors. We need competition. Kenneth Holichek says, Kenny from South Bay, 72. That's nice down there. I'm going to be in the South Bay in a few hours. Around about 4 p.m. I'll be down there. Noah Amrani, how are you? He says they'll always find a way to take your money, right? Don't allow them to take your money. You should be able to set your rates. South Coast Ride, dumpling that has a driver app, TCP, drivers can use. Now, however, I just do not see myself. Mr. Customer, download Dumpling Drive. How about a better name? I don't like the name. I mean, I said it earlier 10 minutes ago. I think it's a pathetic name, rather Dumpling Drive. I mean, it's probably a fitting name for a restaurant, dumplings, or for a food delivery business, but Dumpling Drive, Hugh, wait. Okay, I sent the email. Downloading the emails. Okay, driver Steve, I will check that. Boom. Let's see. Yep. So that must have been, I've unblocked that driver Steve account. Okay, one of my guys must have blocked it. I don't know for what reason. But driver Steve, you're back in there. Hugh Wait, explaining Prop 22's earning structure. That's today's email. Thank you for that link. I also just received it. We believe a better way to work is possible, explaining Proposition 22's earning guarantee. Apps like Uber are great for finding flexible work that can help you make ends meet, but it can sometimes be hard to know exactly how much you'll make by driving or delivering food. That's why we're fighting for Prop 22, and I'm just reading you Uber's announcement today. It will give you earnings guarantees so you can always know the minimum that you'll earn for your time. So when you know that you are going to earn the minimum is basically what the employer gets, right? The question is, how much above that minimum can you earn, right? Or do they just work it out with those algorithms that, you know what, you will hit that minimum if you are driving for an hour? What is the real upside? I mean, can you take this to $30, $40, $50, $60, $70, $80 an hour, right? I would say with yes on 22, that is not possible. Driver Steve, thank you. It does. Try it now. Oh, yes, it does work. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. So I apologize. One of my techie guys must have gone through the live feed, and sometimes they block people. Sometimes they block people on all channels. I know you as what is it? As the front, right? So it looks like you have like 2 accounts, which is cool. Glad that you're back in the mix. The front, cool. I like that name. You know, that would make for an excellent logo. You know, to create to even, you know, I don't know if you've ever been on those, Driver Steve, I don't know if you've ever been on those platforms, but people will literally build you a logo for a few dollars, especially overseas, if you put it out like, hey, this is my brand name, The Front. I do this and this business, looking for creative talent. And, you know, on these sites, I put out $10. You will see how many cool designs will come your way. You pick then what really speaks to you, you know, The Front. Oh yeah, this I can really identify with. Now it goes on my Facebook page. Now it becomes my Twitter brand. Now it goes on my Instagram. Now I use it on my YouTube channel, and you start building around The Front. It's a great name. You know, I'm sure that thefront.com is not available. That would be a miracle. and talk about domains. I mean, I've literally made a few $100,000 just selling domains, right? Because back in the 90s, I bought a lot of great names, So the highest I ever just sold a domain name for was about $200,000, just one domain name. So you can make a lot of money. Now it's just very late in the game. All the good names are gone. My business partner and his colleague just bought a domain name called qualify.com. I believe it was $125,000 that it paid for it. So, you got to pay big dollars now for big names. And the real big individual like business.com and that, of course, I mean, you're going to be paying 20, 30, 40 million dollars just for the name, just for the URL. Driver Steve says, I originally came up with the front from AOL, where I had the front row seat, which referred to getting Elton John tickets on the first row in 1999. Wow, man, what I would have given or paid for to be at Elton John. I've been to a couple of his concerts. I'm a huge Elton John fan. I went on his last, I think was going to be his last tour, Yellow Brick Road. And we had great seats. We had a good time. My wife and I, Laura, was amazing, the Elton John concert. And because I drive a lot of these rock stars, I usually go with them and then get into, like backstage or into their private area where they have food. I mean, they have great food, right? They've got desserts, good food there. And it's a lot of fun to go in with another group of musicians when they're going to support another musician, whether it's Phil Collins, the Foo Fighters, Elton John, whoever it is. But I love the origin of your name. Love the origin where it came from. He says, check out my The Front channel where you can see me play some of his songs on piano. I play by ear. So if you click onto The Front, onto that channel, that's where you have your videos. That's fantastic. So guys, go there, support and subscribe. I'm sure there's tons and tons of Elton John supporters in the house. The Tiny Dancer, Rocket Man. I mean, gosh, his portfolio is insane. I'm your Tiny Dan, the Tiny Dancer. That video was shot in LA. Fantastic. Mike Osra is in the house. Fisher Tog in Germany, letting women and only men and boys for thanks. God bless you. Okay, I'm trying to follow that. Ron Deutsch is in the house. If you made so much, why you keep driving? Ron, that's a question I get a lot, right? Because the people that I drive do so many other deals with them. I get to meet the best of the best in the industry. The most, I get to be around billionaires, people who have a few $100 million. I get to be around successful people, and you will not believe what happens when you start networking with those people and when they start trusting you, right? Way, way bigger things, real estate deals, broker deals, Airbnb. You can do so much. And how do I get to them? By providing that platinum service, right? Whether it's picking them up at the Learjet, dropping them off at the Learjet, maybe even traveling with them, doing the security, helping them with all the transportation means, taking their kids to events, maybe bodyguarding their kids, right, with a group of security people. Watch what opens up. If you enter that world, watch what opens up. That's all I can say. You manifest things, right? You open up a world that may have never been known to you, right? So I always take it a step further. I always build it. It goes from me bringing them in as a private client, transitioning to become a good friend. There are so many CEOs, sports stars, rock stars that I get to hang out with, go party with, that are my friends, right? That just text you out of the blue. right? Text you out of the blue. You know, invite you to go to, you know, there, text message from Taylor Hawkins, the drummer of the Foo Fighters. And you get these private messages all the time. Hey, you're going to come down, have a drink with us, or go to the restaurant with us over in Westlake or whatever. Hey, we're down here, come hang out with us, right? You bring the good energy to the party. You hold a good conversation. You respect these people, right? Amazing things happen. Driver Steve says, I have some local passengers who want me to drive them as a private client, but I can't because I don't have insurance for them. So what you are ready to do is take that next step, right? And that is to get the right car, the right insurance, and start, because those private clients that you're talking about right there, they will bring you 4 or 5 other people. The lady that I'm picking up today, no names mentioned, right? But she's probably brought me 10 to 12 clients, good clients. And those 10 to 12 clients have brought me more clients, right? So your most powerful form of advertising in that world with those private is word of mouth. He's amazing. He makes sure your kids get back. He communicates. I communicate with these people. Hey, by the way, I just picked up all the kids at Six Flags. I picked them up at Universal. Hey, by the way, we're stopping at In-N-Out. I update them. By the way, we just dropped off so-and-so. By the way, I'm 5 minutes away from so-and-so. By the way, another 5 minutes, I'll be at that house. So I keep, like, if you have 6, 7 kids in the car and you keep all these successful, wealthy people informed, that's what they want to know. They want to know their children are safe. You know, I now have 5 kids, my 2, Laura's 3, 5. I want to know where they are and are they safe? Who are they traveling with? What's going on, right? So communication is probably the most important thing when you start building out your private clients. The insurance is expensive, right? When I started just with few cars, the insurance was anywhere like about $9,000 a year, right? And then as you load up cars and you know, it's a very competitive insurance industry, but it's still very, very, very expensive. I mean, you are looking at least $300 to $600 a month, depending how many vehicles you have. Starting point, right? Starting point is at least $350 a month. The starting point. But you know, you can make that back in one afternoon. Right? Got to have your money. Oh, you can play Tiny Dancer? That's my favorite. Ron Deutsch says, that's cool. I've driven some super cool people, but never know how to take it to the next level. Don't want to make them uncomfortable. And that's a really, 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 really powerful point that we need to address. I don't want to make them uncomfortable. And you know how you address that, Ron Deutsch. And I face that. I face that same question. I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. So the way I did it is I got myself set up, right? I did some videos, you know, for Hidden Hills, Calabasas, Westlake, all the affluent areas, Pacific Palisades, Beverly Hills, Bel Air. I got my name out there on social media. But the key to the success was the following. I had magazines. I have my 2 or 3 locations where I pick up my weekly magazines, right? I have a lot of magazines. I pick them up for multiple cars. And then I attach my business card, right? I staple my business card, you know, whether it's for real estate needs, whether it's for driving needs, but I staple my cards with my face to all the magazines, and it's right in front of them. It's right in front of the rear passenger seat, right? So they are reading the free magazines. They said, oh, by the way, is this your card? Yes, it is. You're more than welcome to take it. Oh, cool. Can I call you in case I have an emergency? Absolutely, 24/7, right? So what I do is I teach people the soft approach. because it's very uncomfortable to do the hard approach, which means a hard sell. Hey, do you want to ever take a private trip? Use me. No, use the soft approach. And you are setting them up to come to you. You're setting them up to ask you, is this your card? Yes, indeed it is. You're more than welcome to take the card. In fact, you can take the magazine. If you haven't finished reading the magazine, I have tons of the magazines. Please feel free to take the magazine along with you, right? So, boom, you're in. You get that first trip. Great service. Car smells good. It's clean. Water's on board. You're charging them more than Uber and Lyft. And then they start referring you out. And it goes like this. Boom, 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 boom. And when you break in, like when I broke into the acting world, actors and actresses, boom, suddenly I have, Sony accounts, Universal accounts, Fox studio accounts. I'm everywhere on the map, right? And you get in. Why? Because they know that you're offering the best of the best service, right? I had one actress who was stormed by her fans and by the paparazzi, and she just freaked out, got out of the car and started shifting, moving people around, off to get off her. You push these people back. You use your physical force, push them back. You create a wall. You walk her into the car. Her security was not, the studio security was not on the ball. They dropped the ball, and then the fans stormed her. That hasn't happened once. It's happened a few times, and you've got to step in. When they know that you are there for them, that's it. I had an actress text me yesterday, how's the married life? I said, it's excellent, it's wonderful, right? They communicate with you. Why? Because you treat them special. I have another lady tomorrow, another actress tomorrow. She says, can you go and pick up the books for my child at the school? Because she's getting ready to go on a film shoot, right? So the more personal, and you always try to accommodate them. Sometimes you cannot be in 2 or 3 places at the same time, and you can subcontract out that trip to your next best driver. And if it's $150 trip, let's say, or it's 2 or 3 hours, $300-400, you take 20%, you're making anywhere from $40 to $80 or $40 to $100, and they're getting the difference. You can subcontract out, because very often you can't be in 2 or 3 places at the same time. But for the most part of it, I will always be there, right? Second best trip, yeah. So that's what I was talking about. Robin Renus in the house, thank you. If you got to ask, you don't know, I'm acknowledging them in the other room because I've got 2 feeds going at the center. We have 42 people in the house. If you can smash that like button, that would be well. I'm watching my watch on the one hand, because very soon I will be rolling. It's extremely hot today. Shireen, let's see who. So Dan sent me the link. Oh, he sent the link. Okay, cool. So let me just check. Dan sent me the link. By the way, I do briefly want to jump back. Ron Deutsch, thank you, my friend. And thank you for, I really appreciate it. And thank you for asking. That was a brilliant question. That just shows that you are willing to share. Like, for me, this could be uncomfortable. How do I get over that hurdle, right? How do I pass that hurdle, that uncomfortable factor, which is there? I've experienced it. And I think I just gave you the best solution to do that. It's called a soft sale. Very often a hard sale destroys things, right? You know those hard salesmen that try to sell you a car. They're like, nah, can't deal with this guy. Too much sales energy. You got to use the soft approach. It's like you're coming in for a soft landing. You're not just coming down with your 747. Boom! Here it is. Here I am. You got to buy this. No. Hey, by the way, I see that you like blah, blah, blah. me too. And you start getting into a conversation and you make friends. Man, I think oh, she just sent me a nice picture there, but I got super burnt. That's funny, I can see it. Okay, so Uber sends out this explanation, thank you, Ron, again, of Prop 22. They say Prop 22's earnings guarantee includes, and I want to just read that out for the California driver because this is Uber's side, which is also Lyft's side, right? So you understand where they're coming from. Minimum earnings, if you earn less than the guarantee, 120% of minimum wage over 2 weeks, Uber will pay you the difference. Expense reimbursement, this earnings guarantee includes 30 cents per mile to account for your expenses, such as gas and vehicle wear and tear. No upper limit. The minimum is just that, a minimum. There's no upper limit to how much you can earn on the app. But they are also not talking about the multiplier. And I will guarantee you they will remove the multiplier the moment they get a yes on 22. And I will guarantee you that you have to take every trip, right? There will be an acceptance rate. And if you fall below the acceptance rate, you're out. What's very nice now is that some people can decline or accept at their pace. That'll be gone. Tips are on top. As always, you keep 100% of the tips you earn for the service. You should have always, that's not like an extra, oh, tips are on top. We should always get our tips. Tips is an acknowledgement of who you are, right? So they shouldn't even bring that factor up. Tips are on top. As always, you keep 100% of the tips you earn. That is a given. And these tips are not included in how the minimum guarantee is calculated, how it would work. So 30 cents multiplied by miles plus 1.2 times minimum wage per hour. That's sort of how they... Another lady just texted me, oh my God, Torsten, huge congrats on your wedding. Thank you. And I'm going to reply with a whole bunch of hearts. Just got that right now. This chick is big time. HBO, it's everything. Cool. That's nice. That was very personal. Now, this is their calculation, right? That is their calculation. Under Prop 22. $0.30 multiplied by $0.30 multiplied by the miles plus 1.2 times minimum wage in dollars times the hours. So for example, over 2 weeks, a driver in Los Angeles is en route to pickups and on trip for 500 miles for a total of en route and on trip of 20 hours. The minimum wage in Los Angeles is $13. In this case, the driver would have a total earnings guarantee of $462. 30 cents times 500 miles. Dan, how are you? So I'll get back to Dan, but Dan, I want to make a video exclusively for you, and I'm going to coordinate that with you, Dan. So I'm going to let you know, and then you let me know, hey, that works. Yeah, that we set it. You can set some time slots my way, like what works for you. And then let's figure it out when we can do a live feed, you and I together, where you're in the room answering a lot of questions. Because he has a really, really cool story. And he is who he is. He is the real deal, right? Hey, can you guys get that? Okay. I'm going to have to step away for 1 second. Coming! Might just be Amazon. Guys, coming. Thank you. Thank you. So a huge, huge wedding gift just arrived. Oh my God, I can't even pick this up. Oh my Lord. They just keep on coming. The deliveries just keep on coming. Check this out, another one. Damn. Never-ending story. Wow. I'm gonna open up that with Laura, but and you know, while my friends, while we're on the topic, right? While we're on the topic, why this is why I really want you to start your own business. This gift here comes from what used to be a client, recruited through Uber, and is now a friend. Very wealthy people, and you know, I don't judge anyone whether it's $1 or whether it's $1,000, right? People obviously know what they can spend, right? And I will never ask any questions or never judge any person whether it's $1 or $1,000, right? But these type of relationships, these just gifts are coming from everywhere, right? From all clients who've become friends, right? Just absolutely amazing how all of these people are stepping forward, you know, like Mastro's gift cards. I mean, restaurants, $200 here, $200 there, $200 there, Fleming's, you name it. These people are just coming forward. And you know, these are friendships you've worked on. These are people you've helped. These are people that you've been there for them. And then, you know, when they find out it's your wedding, boom, they're all coming forward. And Dan did as well. So Dan's story is amazing, and we're gonna dedicate a whole video to that. Him and I are gonna coordinate that. So Driver Steve says, I might vote no just because of the extremely low pay Uber is offering if Prop 22 is passed. You are not going to make money. Mark my words. I will make a video. You are not going to make money with this formula. This is a piece of crap formula, right? This really what this says is we will give you the absolute minimum per hour. Big deal. Like the very worst you're going to get is 120% of $13 if you're driving, right? But you truly should be making $30, $40, $50 and higher per hour, right? When I drive in about 45 minutes from now, I don't do anything for less than $150 for the hour. In fact, that trip's going to take me about 35 to 40 minutes, $150 ka-ching. Back another 35 minutes, another $150 ka-ching, which is $300 for what? 1.5 hours of work plus a tip. I'll guarantee you I'll get a $50 or $100 tip. So I walk away with one client just now coming up. Hopefully they're not listening in right now. I don't think they are, but it'll be $400, right? You cannot survive on $2.60 crappy little trips. And this is exactly what they're trying to push here in California. This is not money. The people that are voting yes on 22, this ain't money. This is crap. This is nothing what they're offering, right? So in this case, we did a scenario if the guy drives 500 miles. In this case, the driver would have a total earnings guarantee of $462 for 500 miles of driving, and you're still paying for all the gas and all the wear and tear. forget about it. I don't drive 500 miles for $462, and I have to pay for the gas. You see, so you go ahead and sign up for yes on 22, and this is what you're stuck with, right? With a little bit of flexibility. It's pathetic. And they say, we want to hear from you. Well, Uber, you're hearing from me right now. This is not money. No, this is not a massive upgrade. Start treating the people like true independent contractors, right? Which you're 65, 75% doing right now. You're 75% doing it right now, right? Don't retaliate. Don't punish people if they're part-time, right? They sort of award the full-time drivers more than the part-time. It's one and the same. If somebody puts in 5 or 10 hours, if somebody puts in 50 hours, treat them equal. Dara Khosrowshahi, be grateful for the hours that they are putting in. That may be all they can put in, 10 hours per week. But you cannot give preferential treatment to people that are putting in more hours. Unacceptable, right? So we have a far way to go, ladies and gentlemen. Funny Comment says 3.75. What is the 3? Is that the multiplier you are setting? South Coast writes is 500 miles is $288 IRS write-off as a sole prop. Okay, have to get that verified. Driver Steve, by the way, I signed up under your Lyft code about 3.2 years ago, but never heard from you. Depends if you reached out to me or not, right? I mean, very often Lyft would not even pay out the driver because he did not hit those targets. And if they did not hit those targets, if you went over that limit of when you were supposed to get your bonus, no love for us, the referrer, no love for you, right? In fact, Lyft was actually worse than Uber when it came to bonuses or incentives or then later guarantees. And then later in 2019, you got nothing, right? You just got paid the very, very minimum, $2.60, $3, $4 per trip. It's pathetic. That is not money. Ed Steigelmeyer's in the house. Good to see you. Nathaniel Davies, how are you? Driving from Santa Barbara back to Oxnard. I'm just going to listen. Cool. You're on the 101. Be safe. My guess is you are probably passing by Ventura right now. Maybe should be in Ventura by now, judging on when you sent the message. Do let us know where you are. I know all those exits on the 101. South Coast writes at IRS rate for 2020, 57.5 cents per mile times 500, $288 write-off. Well, I was doing the calculation here, right? Or put it this way, not I wasn't doing it. They were giving you an example with their new formula in California. And other states should look at this because this could be heading your way. The same formulas could be heading your way, right? So if I'm driving 500 miles in my car, I have to pay for the wear and tear. Right? Sure, I've got a bit of a tax write-off, great. I'm paying for all the gas, but I'm according to their calculation, right? 30 cents times 500 miles, $150. The 1.2 guaranteed rate times $13 minimum wage times 20 hours, work 20 hours, 312, right? So $150 plus $312 is $462, right? For 20 hours of driving, 20 hours of gasoline, 20 hours of wear and tear. That's not money. That is not money. That's not money. Amy Montgomery, I just bought my own car last week after driving express drive for nearly a year and months of no car. Awesome. So you followed that formula. You went in, you put in big hours on the express program. You put money aside. Great. Proud of you. Saved up that money, and then you went out and bought your car. Love it. See, that's a step up. The next step up is that you would start setting up your own company at some stage. Dan, the driving man, whatever happened to Juno? What do you think of their business model? Now Juno came in with 1,000 promises. In fact, I have been on the phone with the president of Juno. I've literally hammered the guy. He's up in New York, right? Jet, G-E-T-T, came in, paid $200 million, bought all the data. All Juno did is collected. I referred 13,000 drivers to Juno. How much did I get? 0.00, right? Nothing, not a single cent, right? Because it was all based on a massive promise that they could not deliver. They promised stocks, they promised shares, they did not deliver. They got sued for it. They promised to expand throughout the United States. They made all these big announcements, all smoke and mirrors. All they wanted to do, their intention was to gather data, collect data, and sell it for $200 million and get out. And they did that on drivers' backs, right? So Jet are tainted. Jet will at some stage try and enter the US market, but they already come in so tainted because they were the ones who basically stole that US data. So Juno is the trash of the trash, have no space. Jet is the trash of the trash. And I'm not saying that lightly. I've said that directly to the president of Juno. I said, you trash. You have lied to the people. All your promises that you've made over the phone, even in the conversations, I hold you responsible. You said this and this on that date. You said this and this on that date. That'll happen in 6 months. Nothing materialized. Your word has zero value and no meaning to me. And I told that directly to the president of Jet. And I said, shame on you for pimping and whoring out for $200 million, taking the money and run. Because that's all they did. They took the money and they ran. And if I meet the guy again, he's going to get a good South African slap, a hard one. It's called a puss clap. And I will tell him again, you trash, right? You lied to the people. You lied to the drivers. You're absolutely the bottom line trash of the rideshare world. So that's it. You want to hear what I think about Juno and Jet? I just told you. And I'll tell those CEOs or those presidents, whatever they think with their fancy titles, I'll tell them straight into their face. Again, I already did it on the phone. West Coast to East Coast, you trash. Your word has no meaning. Just talk. Big talk, no delivery. So funny comment says, IQ boy, if you decline, there's nothing to do but sit in your car and wait. True. Pandera Roy, I need to get paid for my time and labor as well as another paycheck for my wear and tear on my car. I like your thinking, right? That's the way the calculation should be, right? Dan says, I reduced my per mile cost to less than 10 cents on each mile to survive rideshare. And you probably, and I'm going to say you probably did that because you have an electric vehicle, right? You recharge, right? You go to one of those charging stations. Is that correct? So you're able to keep those costs that low because you'd never be able to run it that efficient. I mean, you probably have the most efficient formula out there. Right there, he confirmed, yes. You can't do that on a 6.2 liter Escalade, Cadillac Escalade. You cannot even do that on a Toyota hybrid, right? But what he does is smartly went out there, bought the right electric vehicle, got all the charging, knows where all the, I guess you know where all the charging stations are within a few 100-mile radius. You know all the areas. You've driven thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of miles on electric chargers. So that's where you get to those smart numbers. Good for you, man. That's salute you. Smart working, right? Exactly. Oh, here they are free. Even better. Don't have to pay for the charge. Ian Mash, on that note, they should pay for the part we are going for the customer and also on delivery side, on walking and delivering. Right, exactly. So you're spending your time driving over there. That's time, right? You're not getting paid for that, right? They are paying you on the clock. You have a passenger in the car, they're paying you. Not paying you for all the dead miles, not paying you for the downtime, right? They're not paying you, as Ian Mash correctly says for the time you're going over to the restaurant from the restaurant. Once you're on the restaurant and you've picked it up and you're on the way to the client, you get paid for that little stretch, 3 or 4 miles. You might be driving 5 or 10 miles to that restaurant to pick up the food. You're not getting paid for that. You're not getting paid for the dead miles in this formula, right? Only when you're on the clock. If you're on the clock and you're driving 20 hours, you're driving 500 miles in 20 hours, only then will we pay you. What about the other 6 or 7 hours where you ran up miles and gas just getting to the places? No, don't get paid for it. It's Moose says the 30 cents per mile is only paid on the engaged mile. Correct. The engaged mile doesn't include the miles that you have to pick up. Exactly. We said it. You're not getting paid on the dead miles. So yeah, if anybody wants to vote yes on 22, go ahead. Go ahead, vote yes on 22. You are not upping your game. You are not improving. Instead of what you should be doing is offering relentless pressure on these people, on these companies, so that they have to up the game. And we did that with AB5 because that multiplier, my friends, works. And I want to see that multiplier for everyone. I'm going to make sure my clients haven't texted me. So driver Steve, I'm glad you're here under your name again. And apologies if one of the techie people blocked it. They just run through the messages. I pay a team of 6 people. I also pay a couple of people overseas. These are programmers that just do basic work. And they scour all the channels, etc. Because I want to keep my channels clean. And that doesn't mean that you wrote anything that was below the belt. Funny comment says, I think they've imposed the 22 in my area. The rip to the airport, or probably the trip to the airport, used to be $40, now it's $20. IQ boy, I can tell you the multiplier works, especially if you're on the Excel category, right? It's all about when you use it. You don't use the multiplier all the time. You use it at the peak of the peak of the peak times. Monday Social Incorporated, how would this business model relate or affect black SUV TCP drivers? I mean, it's got to impact it in some way, but maybe we don't know yet. Maybe we're exempt if you are a TCP and you're driving Uber Black. Maybe you're exempt from that under TCP regulations. I don't know that. The bottom line is, the good thing is you have that TCP. It sounds like it, right? You have the TCP. So the more you can concentrate on building out your privates, the more money and the less reliance on Uber and Lyft, right? And in order to get into that category now, if you ever do want to get into that SUV or black category, that is a requirement, the TCP. And that costs quite a bit of money. And a lot of the operators, such as myself, we had to go way back, had to apply for it. Every time you get a new vehicle, you stack them under your TCP. Yes, it qualifies for black and SUV and XL. You make money there as well as on XL. But where the real money is, ladies and gentlemen, is on private trips. That's all I can say. South Coast writes is if 22 does not pass, they have to make us true contractors like Dumpling Drive. I got to think about that. It's quite an interesting statement you made there. Oh, Rideshare Trickster's in the house. I didn't see him. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Cool. Hey, how are you, my friend? Good. I'm surfacing. Been a lot of bookings. Super happy. Been extremely busy. Also made major progress. I'm sure you as a huge car fan will appreciate this. You know, I have a hobby, just like you, it's cars. And making great progress on that baby. Getting there. Poured a lot of money into it, and then I want to pick up some of my clients. Want to be picked up in that car. You know, take them to dinners. You know, it has all cup holders in the back. They can put their champagne glasses in there, and got a little space for the cooler. And you've got so much space in that car. You know, maybe play some classic music. What music do they like? I'm going to drive them around in that car. See, Trickster says, when I get back to driving, I run at 4X in Marina Del Rey in Santa Monica. There we go. I mean, he IQ boy, listen, there we go. From a pro, rideshare Trickster. He runs on 4X. If you down in Marina Del Rey by the Ritz Hotel or by the Sheraton or by the Jamaica Bay or on Washington Boulevard or on Bali or on Mindanao or on any of those streets, you're going to make the money because those people have the money and will pay for it. The same thing goes if you're down in Santa Monica, if you're on Ocean Drive, if you're close to Lowe's Hotel, if you're close to Casa del Mar, to Shutters on the Beach, to Viceroy, the Georgian, any of those hotels, you will make 4X. The people will pay. Even if it is a short distance, right, Rideshare Trickster? Even if it's just a few miles, you're going to get $25, $30 versus $5, right? The people will pay. Oh, you're 100% right when you say they are never done. The amount of money I've poured into this car, insane. I redid all the rear suspension, made it tighter. The entire differential at the back is new. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on. Switched out the transmission, put a 350 transmission in there, and it goes on and on and on. You can spend money forever. You know the drill. Mike Auser, God bless. See you later. Okay, there goes my alarm. This is my indicator to get ready. Car's going to start rolling soon. Wicked Hustle guys in the house. As the multiplier goes up, the trips get shorter, in my experience. Yes, true. They do get shorter, right? Because the people are willing to pay. You know, you're not going to go on a 50-mile. It's not going to happen very often. You're on a 50, 60-mile trip and get like, you know, or 70-mile trip and get $200-$300. That's if the people really, really need it, right? But short trips, why not get paid top dollars on those short trips? Haloptic Wins says, Trump 2020, you know, it's not a political channel, so I'll allow you to say it once. In fact, Haloptic gets to say it once, right? So if that's who you're voting for, okay, you have your reasons. But it's not a political channel, it's a rideshare channel. Where did you say the money is again? The money is, if you have an XL vehicle, right, or a minivan or anything that Uber or Lyft would classify as an XL, and you're driving XL Comfort on both platforms, Uber and Lyft, and you are, as a third version, using that X vehicle as your, and I'm giving you the cheaper entry point, right, and you're using that XL vehicle, it's got to be black inside, black outside, as a like limo vehicle to transport multiple people, and then you set up on your limo state license. The step up from that is you go invest into a Suburban or into a Cadillac Escalade, like Thomas Gibson did, like I do, and then really, really shoot for the upper echelon, right? That means only hang out in very, very high-end zip codes, maybe like Rideshare Trickster says, Marina Del Rey is a lot of money there. Beverly Hills, Pacific Palisades, Brentwood, Malibu, Calabasas, Hidden Hills, Westlake, Agura Hills. It's where the money is, right? And then you can go out and get yourself a Suburban or a Cadillac. You then go into the categories SUV, Black, and XL on both Uber and Lyft, and The third tier, the most profitable tier, is you start building out your high-end clients. Right? So you want to come in on that level, Excel, with a private limo license attached, or do you want to come in at this level, high-end SUV? If I had to choose between a high-end SUV or a S550, I would rather go for the high-end SUV. You get more people in, more tips, more luggage. You're very much restricting yourself if you're just doing like an S550 Mercedes and just driving Lux. Not quite making the same money. Yes, funny comments. Strip clubs, pick them up, take them there all day long, right? So Rideshare Trickster says it's hard to justify a 3X or a 4X in a Prius or Civic, right? Now, which would be put in the X category. Tougher. People will probably pass on that offer. Way easier sale if you are driving a big group of people that are maybe splitting the fare in Excel and they're willing to pay the 3.5x multiplier. Toyota Highlanders have come a far way from, they've got way better in the fuel consumption. They're great cars for that. I mean, they're good. But you know, if you want to look for a cheaper option, for example, what is the big Ford? Ford Expedition, the big one. Great car. Correct, South Coast Drive, that's right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I got to rock and roll. Clients are waiting. Money is waiting to be made. I appreciate you all. I love the fact that I have 45 likes and we have 43 people in the house. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was very productive today. The topic of my video today is I want those companies to enter these markets. I want competition. Competition is healthy for us. Competition is better for us. So if these individuals, these CEOs of Dumpling Ride or Alto, if they want to reach out to YouTubers, we should roll out the carpet and help them recruit, help them grow in these states. The invite is there, Mr. CEO of Alto. The invite is there, Mr. CEO of Dumpling Drive. We will gladly assist you in those efforts. Why? Because we need companies that can mix it up with Uber and Lyft to push better treatment across the board. The more competitors in the market, the better, the better. Joey Valenzuela in the house. Thank you, thank you. Cool. Rideshare Trickster, good to see you in here, buddy. Dan, thumbs up. Thank you, my friend. Funny comments. Thank you for being here. Jimmy, Abstract Echo, thank you. Have a great day. South Coast Drive, Wicked Hustle Guy, Nathaniel Davis, Robin Reneth. If you got to ask, you don't know, and everybody else, right? I'm just reading off the screen the names that I can see right now, but there's so many others there. Thank you for getting me up to 50. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Please stay safe. Please stay healthy. Spray it down. I tell you, Home Depot came out with a great big bottle of disinfectant. They're fully stocked. They told me nationwide. It's a lavender one. You could spray those carpets down. You can spray those seat belts down. You can spray the armrests down. You can spray the handles down. It smells heavenly, and it's 99.9% killer of all germs. It's a disinfectant. They have it in stock. Go check it out. They received it yesterday, right? They told me that all their stores are now stocked healthily with this. So if you want a nice big disinfectant in a spray bottle that smells good, kill two birds with one stone. There it is. It's at Home Depot. It's a big bottle. I got to show you in the next live feed. God bless you all. Be safe. Drive safe. Love to Kenya on the African continent. Wherever you are, Florida. No, we have Florida in the house. We have Vegas in the house. We have Texas in the house. We've got Lancaster in the house. We've got LA in the house. We've got Orange County in the house. We've got the South Coast in the house. Everyone, have a great, great, wonderful day. Be safe. Thank you, and thank you again. Thank you to everyone in the live stream at Rideshare Driving School. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.